pasó Joaquin, let me introduce you with Karen, my other,
waiting on them to make this.
my friend, the other founder. Me and her at 11. And then Culver.
Two. Well, that one for sure.
Karen.
And this next one. I see there's a bass player.
Maybe
It's been a while though, not a practice. Just answer like, hey,
I want
you would know what to do.
everybody. There's a lot of singers.
Hey, Pastor, I'm Derek Kilmer.
That's what I mean. No, I understand. But no, he's already, he's playing now. Oh, you never saw it. My phone's in the car. But I'll show you the picture.
Yeah, I was listening to NPR.
Don't make me actually perform in front of people, not in front of me.
I've never been Sí. Perfecto. Gracias. Va a ser nuestro pastor oficial. Sí. Claro que sí, pastor. Para que sea nuestro pastor oficial.
I knew better than to wear those shoes. I thought I have to walk through the grass. Good morning. How was the... Oh my gosh. I mean... Oh my goodness. Yes, I know you're tired. Hey, sorry I missed all your events on Friday, but you know I'm there for you.
No.
Oh my God.
Long time no see.
The one from Kim.
No, I don't.
Alright, so 2 minutes.
I don't know.
2 minutes. I'll only do it if
They might not like it, but all right.
1 minute.
1 minute.
All right. Hi. Oh, hey, team. How are you?
I haven't seen you forever.
Hello, Pastor. Go up there. Good to see you.
Yeah, I know.
Hi. Hi. Nice to see you. Mom. Yeah, we need your blessing. Good. Hey, Pastor. Great to see you. How you doing? Good.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes ago. 9:10. This is more one. After that one.
Good morning, buenos días.
Turn it off. Other one. Up top.
Good morning, buenos días. Please stand. We're going to have a minute of silence. Starting now. Thank you. Buenos días. Let me introduce you. We're going to start our program with our founder, Karen Vargas. And Karen and I, we are the founder of this program, and we are so thankful having you here. Thank you. We're going to start with MC. Ms. Karen Vargas, please.
Good morning, family. How are you this morning? We're here for our honoring and commemoration of those lives that were lost during the 9/11 attacks on our nation over 22 years ago. And we always want to remind our community the importance of unity, the importance of coming together for safety. And we want to honor those that have sacrificed their lives for the protection of our communities, for our families, and for our nation. At this time, we will receive our color guards with the colors.
Color guards. Attention. Carry. Colors. Ready. 2. Forward. March. Ready. Halt. Left. Face. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
Ready, 2, right, face, forward, march.
Again, good morning. At this time, we will have our land acknowledgement statement. Every part of this soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove have been hallowed by some sad or happy event in days long vanished. Chief Seattle, 1854. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is within the ancestral territory of the Suquamish people, of the clear salt water, Suquamish people, expert fishermen, canoe builders, and basket weavers. The Suquabs live in harmony with the lands and the waterways along Washington's central Salish Sea as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Suquabs live and protect the land and water of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by Point Elliott Treaty of 1855. This time we will have Pastor Floyd Houston come for our opening prayer.
Good morning. Let everybody bow their heads. O God, our hope and refuge. In our distress we come quickly to you, shocked and horror of that tragic day that have subsided. Replace now with the emptiness, a longing for the innocence that was lost. We come remembering those who lost their lives in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. We are mindful of the sacrifice of public servants who demonstrated the greatest love of all by laying down their lives for friends. We commit their souls to your eternal care. We celebrate the gift of fallen humanity. We come remembering, and we come in hope, not in ourselves, but in you. As foundations we once thought secure have been shaken, we are reminded of the illusion of security. In commemorating the tragedy, we give thanks for your presence in our time of need, and we seek to worship you in spirit and in truth. Our guide and our guardians, we thank you for it even right now. In Jesus' name.
And at this time, we will receive Pastor Joaquin Miguel.
Good morning, buenos dias, each one of you. It's a great honor to be here and remembering our people that is following this tragedy. Es un honor estar acá para recordar a nuestras personas que perdimos en esta tragedia. Dios bendiga a los presentes. God bless each one of you, pastors and congressmen and mayors. Estamos aquí para recordar el día fatídico que pasó en el 9/11, hace más de 20 años. La palabra de Dios dice, God says, I'll be with you all the time, in the tragedies, in the sadness, in the moments of conflict, en los momentos más difíciles de nuestra vida, Dios estará con nosotros. There's one man in the Bible that he went through a lot of battles in his life, fighting for his people, his liberty, which is King David. He's the one man that he taught us how to fight every day, believing in God. God knows that we are going to have these moments in our life, but God, He is always with us and giving us comfort and peace through all these moments. So now we are here to pray for our safety, for our nation, for our guards, army, and officers, policemen, and fire departments. And we pray that this moment or this time that happened in 9/11, God that keeps us safe as a nation, as a people of God. I'll pray. Dios que estás en los cielos, invocamos tu majestuosa y divina presencia. Que tu Espíritu nos dé fortaleza cada día en nuestros momentos más difíciles. Eres Dios de amor y misericordia. Tú estás con nosotros en todo tiempo. Nos bendices, Señor, con tu presencia. Tú estás con nosotros en todo tiempo y nos fortalecerás, Señor, en cada momento de nuestra vida. En los momentos más difíciles has prometido estar con nosotros. Señor, bendice América. Protege América. Bendice los soldados, bomberos, policías, todos los que están en guardia de esta nación. Lo ponemos en tus manos. Bendice América. Gracias. Thank you.
You all may take a seat. At this time, we will have a special presentation by Derek Pope.
I would like to read a high prayer for humanity, and then I'm going to perform Let There Be Peace on Earth. And if you know the words, feel free to sing along. O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household. In thy holy presence they are all thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have gathered together at the table of bounty. All are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, conferrest life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with talents and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all. Let the religions agree and make the nations one, so that they may see each other as one family and the whole earth as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise aloft the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father, God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes to the light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, and thou art the one who overlooketh the shortcomings of all mankind.
peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And at this time, we will have reflection and remarks. Please receive our mayor, Mayor Greg Wheeler, for the reading of the proclamation.
Well, good morning, distinguished guests.
Good morning.
So, whereas on September 11th, 2001, the peace and security of our nation was shattered by terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 innocent men, women, and children at the World Trade Center towers in New York City, at the United States Pentagon, and in a field of Somerset County, Pennsylvania. And whereas, as we mark the 21st anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 attacks on America, we hereby adopt this proclamation in tribute to those lost and injured on 9/11 and the many who gave themselves in service to their communities and to this country in the aftermath of the attacks. Whereas participating in service and remembrance activities is a positive way to honor the lives of those that were lost and to recognize the spirit of unity and dedication to others that occurred in the wake of this tragedy. And whereas the city of Bremerton acknowledges and supports the 9/11 Sacrifice of Service commemoration being held on September 10th, 2023 from 9:11 a.m. to noon at the Evergreen Rotary Park Amphitheater. And whereas the event serves to remember that fateful day and supports safe communities and emergency preparedness, now therefore I, Greg Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Bremerton, do hereby proclaim September 10th, 2023 as Sacrifice of Service Day in the City of Bremerton. And I urge all citizens to commemorate this day with remembrances and service activities. Signed this day, Greg Wheeler, Mayor of Bremerton.
And at this time, we will receive Congressman Derek Kilmer.
Before I say anything else, can we give a round of gratitude to Karen and Martitha for putting this together? I'm grateful to you. And, there's these moments in our lives where we never forget where we were when we saw a tragedy or we heard about something bad that happened. And certainly September 11th is one of those days. And when we think about it, it is easy to be overwhelmed with the emotions we had on that day, that feeling of fear, that feeling of outrage, that being overwhelmed with the fact that there was such hate in this world, that we saw these tragedies, the plane that flew into the Pentagon, the planes that hit the Twin Towers, the scenes that emerged from Lower Manhattan as dust filled the city. It can be overwhelming to think about our emotions of that day. But I think it's important for each of us to be overwhelmed by the feelings of positivity that followed after that tragedy. The fact that we saw first responders that literally went into that rubble to try to save lives. The fact that we saw Americans, patriotic Americans, that enlisted in the military following that. The fact that we saw people line up at the blood banks to donate blood. The fact that we saw Americans enlist in the military. The fact that we saw people give to charities in record numbers like they had never before. The fact that we saw community come together. And we see that here in Bremerton. The reality of remnants of the tower actually being here as a commemoration, as a memorial here in the city of Bremerton says a lot about this community. The fact that we have events like this. And even, in the aftermath of 9/11, the reality that for a brief moment you saw Democrats and Republicans come together at the United States Capitol and come together on the steps of the Capitol and honor America and speak with one voice in unity. I think it is a good reminder to us of what we are capable of as a country when we are together as a country, when we are truly the United States of America. And my hope is that as we commemorate the tragedies of that day, we think about those positive things and ask ourselves what we owe our country. That is not just in the aftermath of a tragedy that we should step up on behalf of our community or on behalf of our country. It's not just in the aftermath of a tragedy that we should come together, not as Democrats and Republicans, but as Americans on behalf of this country. And so today, with gratitude to those who have organized this event, I hope that we can continue to be the United States of America. Thanks, everybody.
At this time, please receive State Representative Tara Simmons.
Good morning, family. It is great to see you all. I was thinking about what I was going to say today when I was driving here, and I was just reflecting upon what's happened over the last year since I was here last year, sharing about where I was on 9/11. And 9/11, I was working as a registered nurse, night shift, and I was in a patient's room when I saw on the TV the start of the footage of what had happened and the planes going into the Pentagon and into the Twin Towers. And since last year, there's been a lot of change in my life. My son became a Marine, which is really amazing, and I'm proud of him for stepping up to service, public service. But I was thinking about what 9/11 really means, and it means safety and security to me. It means freedom, and it means public service. Those are the three themes that I pull out of that event. When I think about safety and security, that can mean different things to different communities. And 2 weeks after 9/11, I was sexually assaulted. And 3 days after that, my friends and family beat that man up. And I got my first felony conviction for conspiracy to commit assault. And they didn't want me to bring in the medical records of what had happened to me 3 days prior. So they increased my charge to try and scare me into staying silent. And on Friday, I finally got that record vacated. And I am finally free. So safety and security to marginalized communities means something different than what we think of in traditional society of safety and security of our police and our military and keeping us safe from external threats. We have a lot of work to do to build safety and security right here in our own country. And I'm proud that my son is a Marine and going to be a law enforcement officer. Just got hired in the shipyard as a federal security guard. But he has survived a lot of injustice and lack of freedom in our own lives and our own families as a Black American, as a Black male, as someone who grew up with an incarcerated mother. And so safety and security means a lot of different things, and they can all come together and coexist like they are in my own son, a new Marine, a future police officer, a Black American, someone who has had an incarcerated mother, someone who's fighting for civil rights and trying to fix these systems. And so I just want to say it's great to be free today, truly free. Friday, my seatmate represented me in a court hearing, and the prosecutor agreed, and the judge gave me my freedom. And I've been fighting for 22 years to be free. So thank you, family, for being here. I love you all, and I appreciate your friendship, your public service, and keep moving this community forward. Thanks.
At this time, please receive our Kitsap County Commissioner, Christine Ruffles.
Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the music that we just heard. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. A few of us were talking about national holidays prior to this ceremony beginning, and in listening to the music, it occurred to me we really don't have a national holiday dedicated to peace. And so how beautiful to hear that music and to reflect on those words while we're memorializing what happened on 9/11. When I first want to acknowledge that not everybody here today was alive on that day. I did learn this morning that this day commemorates the first day that the Seattle area had live television in the early 1950s. And if you reflect back on 60 or 70 years of live television, that is in many ways what has brought America together. That allows, we didn't hear our grandparents say, "Where were you on December 7th?" But we did hear our parents and grandparents say, "Where were you when Kennedy was shot? Where were you when the space shuttle blew up?" Because Americans United were watching that. And again, we were all watching on September 11th. We were watching TV live when those events happened. And that brings Americans together. Any American who is alive and remembers, I would say anybody over the age of 12 is aware and felt that fear and that terror. And I want to share that I was on the Bainbridge Island City Council at that time, and we were pulled back into the City Hall, and one of the council members said, "I'm really afraid that we're going to war." And none of us believed that would happen. We just didn't. And of course it did. And so I want to reflect on the words of Representative Simmons and tie together peace. We can't have peace without safety and security. The two go hand in hand. And to be able to use a holiday or a memorial like this, a commemoration of a day that all Americans can share in history and in experience, to be able to reflect on peace and safety and security and bringing communities together and celebrating our first responders, celebrating our military, celebrating our veterans, and also celebrating our diversity and the hope that this will never happen again. This day has the potential to be that kind of a day for all of Americans, and I'm very proud that in Bremerton and in Kitsap County, we're beginning to have that reconciliation and those kinds of conversations on 9/11. So thank both of you, because that is no accident that you bring us together every year to have this conversation and to share these memories. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, please receive City Council candidate Marwan Cameron.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? You know, when I got the call and I was asked to reflect on 9/11, I was a bit saddened. I can remember where I was on 9/11. I can't think back that far as to what I was doing. I tried to look at my old emails. They won't go back to 2001. So I had to pull up my college transcripts. And I was in Old Dominion University and Olympic College, taking organizational behavior and business ethics. 9/11 didn't spur me to action, to want to be a first responder and do the work. I was on my own journey, my own path of trying to survive in America as a black man, as Tara Simmons was reflecting on. And so that connection between country and living in a country that is imperfect with all the issues, I hadn't had that level of maturity. But today, I stand here a different person. And if we bookend 9/11 with the COVID epidemic, there's a lot of similarities there. And there's 10 things that I really wanted to kind of pull out to compare. The scale and the scope of the impact. Both events had a widespread and long-lasting impact on public health, safety, and the economy. Response coordination. Both events required complex, coordinated efforts among multiple agencies, organizations, including government agencies, healthcare providers, and non-governmental organizations. resource allocation that is often woefully inadequate in the BIPOC community and across class. Public communication, the uncertainty, what's going on? Where do we go? How do we get resources? How do we get help? Economic impact. Many have not recovered from 9/11, and so many have not recovered from COVID. Psychosocial consequences. The mental health from 9/11, the mental health from COVID. Folks struggling. They've lost their patriarch, their matriarch, their breadwinner, the person that held the family together, children, loved ones, friends, people that they have served together with, first responders that fearlessly ran in, security concerns, long-term planning and preparedness. This is sacrifice of service. And today, I stand here as a nonprofit operator, providing transportation throughout the county, being part of 211 when severe weather shelters open, providing food and case management, providing transportation to COVID-positive individuals in the beginning of COVID when we didn't know what it was, when it was extremely deadly. We transported individuals the entire time, not concerned with, well, we had concerns, but the job needed to be done. And many of the people in my organization have comorbidities, so that could have been very fatal for them and their families, and they would have lost their patriarch, their matriarch. And so while I didn't know and didn't have that tie to the country back in 2001, today I stand before you a different man, and understanding that there is a sacrifice of service that we all need to play our part in. And we have to be vigilant, because like 9/11, now we have COVID. Something next is coming down, and we don't know what that is. But together, we will continue to be resilient and thrive. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, it's the time now to acknowledge some beautiful people that are here. And first of all, I want to say, Police Department, thank you. We honor you guys for all you do in our community. Thank you for being here. And also, Miss Christina Rourke, thank you. Kids Up Strong, thank you for being here in this important event. Also, Dave from Emergency Management, thank you for bringing resources. So it's very important, to bring those resources. Also, G2, thank you for having also a booth table. We wanted to make sure that we have the resources. And also, Kids Up Immigrant Assistance Center, Annika, thank you for being here. So we appreciate all the support. It is, when we talk about resources, it is very important to bring those resources bilingual. I know, where's the community? It is Sunday, and next year we promise we're going to bring more than 800 people. Right, Pastor? Nominate you to be our official pastor for Spanish. So I compromise you, Pastor. Thank you. And acknowledge City Council Anna Moker. She's here. Thank you for being here. Appreciate also the support. And we're going to go for the Suquamish tribe. Thank you. Thank you for, we are in their land, and we are so grateful. And as a Mexican American, I feel this is my country too. And it just, as I shared last year, I was a military dependent, and I just remember that day, and I shared that last year, and it is just deep in my heart. Americans are my brothers and sisters. So thank you. I want to acknowledge also, you want to come over and introduce yourself, please. And I know
Rita
her.
here.
Yes, I know her. Come on, Rita. I just wanted to brief what your running position. I just want her, people to know her. I know. She's my friend, Rita Harris, and then she's running for,
So I'm Reba Harris, and I'm running for Paulsville City Council position number 4. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Reba. So I'm my friend on Facebook, so I just wanted people to see her, when the times to see her out there and say, what can you do for my community, right? Yes. So, again, thank you so much. We're going to continue with our program, and Karen Vargas and I, we are very grateful for accepting our invitation to be here. And, yes, we know next year will be better, and we will bring more and more resources because we want to make sure our community can benefit from the resources. Thank you, and the resource tables are there, and Ms. Karen Vargas.
I just wanted to take a moment just to reflect on the day that 9/11 happened. It was, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, is this real? Is this really happening? I can remember that morning as clear as day. My husband, he was on his way into Bangor Sub Base. The alert had gone out. They were locking down the bases. We didn't know we just didn't know from that moment to the next what would happen to us as a nation, as a community, our families. And when my husband went to the base, I didn't know if I was going to see him again, if they were just going to be moving out to respond to what was happening. I was in a place of shock. My children, they were screaming, where's daddy going? Those things were happening in real time, and our families were so affected. And then, I can't speak for my husband, but I know when he received the message that one of his shipmates had gotten killed at the Pentagon, our hearts just dropped. Because we live in a space where we sometimes think these things cannot happen to us. And then we are thrown into the trauma. We're thrown into all of the devastation. We're thrown into all of our emotions. We don't know how to respond. But what I saw happening across our nation was a time when our nation stood as one. They were unified. They were there to help, to support those that were in the building, those that had lost their lives, children, moms, fathers, responders. Everyone was just, I had never seen or witnessed the extent of love, care, concern, and unity that I saw that day across barriers, across race, across divisions, across all of the things that we kind of just laid them aside for that moment in time. And it was something that I said, if we could love one another like that on a daily basis, that we could just put every weight, every concern, every discord, every division aside, just to support our loved ones and our communities. And if we could begin to cultivate that type of concern for humanity, we could transform the universe, the world. We could model for all nations. This is how we move, and this is how we show love and concern and care for one another. Not just when there's trauma or tragedy, but this is a way of life for us. We can do it. We've already proven that it can be done. So when I think about 9/11 and I think about how do we cultivate, how do we get that back? How do we begin to nurture and seed that type of love, concern, and safety for one another, whether it's with our law enforcement, whether it's with our homeless, whether it's with those that are walking the street in our neighborhood? How can we show that type of care, love, and concern? That's what this 9/11 sacrifice of service, this remembrance, to bring back to our remembrance what we can be here and what we can do here in our own community, because this work starts with us. It's our opportunity. We can do it, and it's going to take all of us. But this is the time that we just take time to remember. Because if we forget, that is the tragedy. If we just cast it aside as if it was just another day and not bring back to our hearts and to our minds the sacrifice to lay down one's life for a friend, for a stranger, for a neighbor, to protect and show that type of love and concern. So that's something that I think the human spirit, humanity, can model for one another. So this is what the 9/11 sacrifice of service is about. Bringing our community together in unity to remember that we have an awesome opportunity to show care and love and concern and safety for one another. And I always want to give thanks to my wonderful husband. He doesn't say a lot, but he says so much. And so I just want to say, honey, I love you for all your support, all your care and concern that you've shown our children, our family members, and our community. Thank you. Well, I do have a special musical presentation. Oh, yes, I must do this. We have our Congressman, Derek Kilmer, that would just do a little rendition, just a small rendition for us, a special musical presentation. Please receive him as he comes.
I would only do this for Karen Bergen.
I have to say before we start, there's a history here. I was playing in.
You gotta sing. I'm not doing this.
There's a history here that I was playing. I think it was some event that Congressman Kilmer was at, and Congressman Kilmer comes up to me and says, I play bass. So I said, well, you want to play a song? He said, sure. So he played a couple, and he can play. Yes, I was like, yeah, he knows his stuff. So I just thought I needed to say that because I was honored that he got to play my bass. And thank you.
I played twice in 10 years, so this is not going to be... All right, but who knows the words to Stand By Me? All right, come on up. You got to sing. Come on. Come on, you got to come on.
You will need the bass. Yes, one verse. Come on.
All right.
You got to get the lyrics up.
Tell me when you're ready.
Oh, I love this.
She's too afraid of my... No. I was eating my breakfast. Let's see. Stand By Me.
No.
Let's lean on me. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay, hold on.
When the night has...
When the night...
Oh!
Come on up here.
Come on, Anna.
You know Anna will sing in public.
Okay, I got it right here.
Oh, I love
All right, we ready?
Okay.
When the night has come and the land is dark,
There we go.
and the moon is the only light I see.
Woo!
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long
Oh, you guys got it.
as you stand by me. Darling, stand by me. Oh, stand
Go, Anna.
by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
We're definitely doing it at a political fundraiser.
Well, thank you. We just want to thank everyone for coming and reflecting with us this morning. We need your autograph. One of the things where 2 or 3 are gathered,
Oh,
where 2 or 3 are gathered in His name,
say it.
God is in the midst.
Say it.
So God is here with us on today, and we want to acknowledge Him as well. We want to thank Him for always protecting us, protecting our families, keeping us safe. We thank Him for His grace and for His mercy. We thank Him for all that He does for us. At this time, we're going to receive Pastor Coleman for our closing.
Thank you.
Prayer.
I already called it.
Come on, let's stand to our feet if you will. Let's thank God one more time for Congressman Derek Kilman and the backup singers, the Supremes. Let's stand for them.
Anna, you got a career here.
Okay.
Now, let's bow our heads for a moment of prayer. Father, again, we are grateful and thankful for this day. Your great love and mercy for us, we're not consumed because your compassion fail not. They are new every morning, and great is your faithfulness. God, thank you as we gather today to remember the sacrifice. Of course, God, those who have lost their lives, and we continue to pray for their families who are still here fighting the good fight of faith. God, thank you so much for all that you have done for us and how you keep us. Thank you for those who have put this program together today. Thank you for all of these public servants who have come today, rendering music and also just a time of remembering. But God, we also know that you are our refuge and strength, a very present help in the times of trouble. And God, help us to be able to cast all of our cares on you because you do care for us. Lord, allow us to cast our worries and our fears and our doubts, all of our anxieties and all the stuff that troubles us and worry us and brings us down. But Lord, we also know that there's only one way to overcome hate, and that is through love. Teach us, Lord, to love you with all of our heart and lean not on our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. Thank you so very much, God. Your word said you will give us a peace that surpasses all understanding, that will guard our hearts and mind through Christ Jesus. God, we honor you today. We bless your name today. And as we leave this place today, never from your presence, we go on leaving, remembering the great sacrifice which was made. And of course, God, the ultimate sacrifice which you made for us, and whom the Son sets free is free indeed. We're grateful, we're thankful. For us in Jesus Christ's name we do pray. Amen. Come on, give somebody a high five and tell them it's been a good day. It's been a good day.
Good morning. Thank you for coming down.
Good to see you.